Hello and welcome to MGP217. I'm Kev, and with me this week there's Sheepdog and Pab. Say hello, boys and girls. That doesn't
Hello.
work when Anna's not here, does it?
Hello.
Hello. Anna's not with us this week. That sounds like she's dead. She's not dead. Anna's not joining us this week because Orange is the New Black is on, and she's only managed to watch the first 10 episodes since it came out at 8 o'clock this morning. So obviously she needs to get those finished off before she's able to rejoin the world of people who talk on the internet.
I would have been 2 episodes into this season had I not started episode 1, watched a good 10 minutes of it before going to my wife. I'm sure we've seen this one, and she's not in prison, and she doesn't have any money when she is in prison. And then I checked, and we were watching the first episode because I just pressed play.
What? And you spent 10 minutes watching the very first.
Yeah, it started with her in the shower in prison. And I just assumed, oh, she's having a shower. Two main characters talking to each other. I assumed it had started 2-3 months later or something. But once you realise, no, the new season starts exactly where it left off last year, and episode 1 was great.
Splendid. For anybody who's watching on YouTube, obviously we do have the chat, which is open around somewhere. So get involved in the chat. Let us know what the happy is. You can get involved in the show as it goes on. Pork and Beans is manning the chat. And if you want to tweet at us at MGUK Podcast, good old Sheepdog will be checking what we're up to on there. Obviously, if you're listening on iTunes or Spreaker or Stitcher, you can't do any of that because we're finished now. And I'll probably do that hilarious bit every week that we do this live on YouTube, because it makes me chuckle inside. And obviously, if you are on YouTube and you haven't popped a like on it yet, probably should do that right now. So we're back on YouTube. We didn't tell people we were doing this. This is sort of, we've sprung this on ourselves because we enjoyed it so much for the E3 special earlier in the week, which if you haven't listened to that yet, you should probably check that out. That's now on the iTunes feed, still available to watch on the channel as well. But I quite like this. We like this format. Now we're all in separate rooms, and we're not all trying to crowd around a silly little microphone on the sofa like we were last time we did YouTube. I think it works. Do we agree?
Yeah, I like it. Assuming the sound all sounds okay. And
the sound, because of the magic of Google Hangouts, it actually balances everyone's sound a little bit better, so I don't have to mess around afterwards trying to make myself louder compared to you lot, because for whatever stupid reason, Skype insists on making me quieter than the other people in the call, so I have to edit it afterwards, and that troubles me. Who is riding motorbikes around the room that they're in?
So like Pab.
It could be me. It could be me. You know if it was me because I'll pop on the main screen, won't it?
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
There you go. So now we know who the rascals are, who's making noises. No more of this. No more of this. Oh no, it wasn't me. Sheepdog won't get away with his silliness anymore.
No.
So that's the real reason we're doing it, so Sheepdog can't upset anybody. So only 3 days have passed since we last did a podcast, because obviously we did the E3 one in midweek. I feel like I'm spending far too much time with you people this week, and it's quite troubling. Has anyone else's sleep schedule been messed up by E3?
No.
I've been ruined this week.
Yep.
I've gone to bed at 10 o'clock the last 2 nights. I just can't handle it. I was up late 2 nights in a row, and it's broken me.
Get lost. At 10 o'clock. I've had probably between 4 and 5 hours sleep since Sunday. 4 and 5 hours sleep.
Hold on. I can tell you exactly how many hours of sleep I've had, because my Fitbit app tells me that. And I have managed a clean 7 hours the last 2 nights, but I'm still a bit tired. But the night we did the podcast, 4 hours 43 minutes.
Yeah, it's about average for me this week.
Died. Can't handle that tiny amount of sleep. It's terrifying. Right, before we get any further, I feel it's very important that we give people what they came for. Give people their money's worth. We're going to announce right off the bat the topic for this year's MGPX live show. It's what everybody's desperate to find out, and here you go. The title of this year's MGPX live show is MGPX SOS. Guess what the SOS stands for, boys and girls? Are you guessing? No, it's probably because you two already know, don't you? This is where we see if Pab is paying attention.
I wasn't paying attention at all, so it's kind of a surprise to me as well.
I know the answer.
Yeah, it's MGPX Save Our Sheepdog, and it's our quest to stop Sheepdog being a big girl's blouse and moaning about games all the time. So we need your help, people out there in listener land. Between now and MGPX, which is only 5-6 weeks away now, we need you to send in your suggestions for games that he should be playing, or people he should be playing with, or anything that will make him get his gaming mojo back, because he's a big misery about games at the moment, ain't you, little fella?
Pretty much. I think the E3 special went better than I expected because I realised I'd liked some of the games I'd forgotten about, but people still commented that I was quite negative throughout the episode. And when we were chatting about that, yeah, you sort of pointed out that it's been a bit of a descent over the past year. And yeah, I think it's a good challenge for the listeners, because the way I see it, either you'll convince me or remind me of reasons why I should get my mojo back, or at the end of it all, I'll go, yeah.
And we'll hold your funeral live on stage.
Yeah, exactly. You can burn me on a pyre. Is that the right thing?
Yeah, I think so. So we're not limiting ourselves to new release games or current gen stuff. Anything that you think might make him think, oh, this is awesome, and force himself to go and play it. So it could be retro stuff, it could be stuff on weird consoles or phones, or stuff that he hasn't done before, multiplayer stuff that he hasn't tried, anything really that he can have a little go on and go, you know what, I rather enjoyed that. And that's our goal for MGPX. By the end of that show, we'll have found him a list of things to go away to play, and by then he will love it all again. And that's the plan. And we are going to convince him that gaming is a wonderful thing.
You kind of just need to invent more hours in the day, I think, because I run out of time.
Well, you say that, but you watch so much telly. Yeah. I reckon we could take an hour of your telly time, or even like 3 or 4 hours of telly time a week. And if you were really into a game, you'd think, actually, you know what? I won't watch this TV show right now. I want to play this game more because it's better than what's on telly. And that's your problem. At the moment, everything on telly is better than the games in Sheepdog Land.
Yeah, that's probably quite accurate. And also I get to spend the time with my wife watching the programs, whereas
perhaps it's games you could play with your wife then. Perhaps that's the answer. Perhaps that's the way in.
That'd be a good idea. That'd keep her busy too then.
Keep her out from under my feet. As long as she's fetching me, how many beers has she fetched you during the show today?
Just the one. Just the one.
I mean, to be fair, we are only 5 minutes in.
I'm halfway done, to be fair. So when she comes out again, I'll get another one.
You got a lime in that again?
Mm-hmm.
You must be keeping the lime industry afloat with these beers that you're drinking at the moment.
No scurvy in my house.
Ah, marvellous. So, where was? Oh, it would be remiss of me to talk about MGPX without trying to flog you a ticket. Not you two. I'll allow you two to come for free. But the rest of you, if you would like a ticket for MGPX 16, MGPX SOS, and that's what the T-shirts will say. T-shirts coming soon, boys and girls. You need to go along to MG. No, you don't. That's the wrong thing. You'd edit that out. You need to go to maturegamerpodcast.com/MGPX if you would like to buy a ticket to line our pockets with, or if you'd rather we didn't get any money because we're, don't need money, do we? Look, we can afford haircuts and stuff. Then if you want to give a bit of money to charity, you can go to justgiving.com/MGPX16, and regardless of which way you do it, every £1 you spend on tickets will get you an entry into the world famous MGPX raffle, the grand prize of which this year is an Xbox One 1TB edition with a copy of The Division, plus we've got loads of extra gamey bits of goodies to give away as well. Do we have a swag update for this week, Sheepdog?
We've got a. I'm trying to figure out what way I'd scale this down, but the Xbox is obviously the star prize. Then we have a pair of tickets, super tickets to EGX.
Super passes, I believe.
So I'm hoping that someone with no friends wins and gives me the other one because I haven't got a ticket for EGX.
I tell you what, then you can buy a ticket and enter the raffle.
I was tempted to just ask them and say, "Oh, by the way, mate, the person who won them has 2 wives and."
I'm one of them.
Yeah. Then the next level down at the moment, a couple of games. Do you remember what games they are? Because I sure as hell don't.
No idea.
A couple of Xbox One games. I'll find out for next week what games they are, because I kind of opened the envelope and put them straight on the shelf. Not my shelf.
Straight into the Sheepdog collection.
Not my shelf. A shelf that I'm keeping all the stuff in. Then Jinx sent us a load of T-shirts, armbands, key rings.
Armbands?
Random, arm bracelet things.
Wristbands?
Wristbands, whatever.
Not for swimming with, which is what I thought. Gaming-themed swimming paraphernalia. That would be amazing.
Some Minecraft toys.
I want them.
Yeah, there's
Edit that out as well. I'll have them.
there's a pig zombie. There's a cow and a sheep, I think.
To be honest, we've already got all of them, both in plush and hard versions. We've
These are
basically
plushes.
got all the Minecraft toys in this house.
And then beyond that, did we have anything else?
There'll be a couple of T-shirts that we throw in, probably. There'll probably be a couple of Best Thing From books that we chuck in as well, because it's about time somebody bought one of them again. They're still a thing, by the way. You can still buy them. And I imagine there's bits left over from last year.
I was going to say, all the bits we couldn't get rid of before.
Yeah, I don't think we ever managed to sell the bloody Warcraft, Minecraft, Starcraft, something craft.
Mists of Pandaria.
Yeah, even though it's still on the Indiegogo as a perk. We've sold the 2 Get Out of Hell editions. We've sold the 2 Borderlands edition tickets. So those games are gone as part of the Indiegogo tickets, but still no one has bought the stupid game that we've had for 4 years of MGPX.
First person who arrives who wants it can take it. Deal?
Yeah, I just don't want to bring it home again. It's so big. I mean, it's massive, and I just want rid of it.
I've got a feeling there's some other game codes and stuff that we've got. Off the top of my head, I can't think.
There's baseball caps as well. There's Hearthstone baseball caps. There's Evolve baseball caps. There's Final Fantasy T-shirts. There's Football Manager T-shirts. A few other Football Manager bits and pieces as well, I think, in the box, which I haven't nicked and scattered around my house.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, there's a few bits. I've smashed my glass again, so if we do get sent a glass by Sports Interactive this year, the onus is on whoever wins it to give it to me, like the last 2 years winners have.
I was going to say we usually get 2, but no, we only ever get 1 because I don't steal the other one every year.
No, that would be wrong. And Pab, was it you who gave me the doormat last year?
Yes.
Yeah, I've got a Football Manager doormat in my house as well. You're not having that because I use that because it's awesome. But bottom line, there's lots of awesome stuff. So if you want a chance of winning any of that, whether you're coming to the event or not, maturegamerpodcast.com/MGPX or justgiving.com/MGPX16, and every £1 you spend on either of those 2 methods will get you an entry into that raffle. There we go. Should we talk about some video games now we've done shilling our wares?
We can do.
Yeah, why not?
What have your kids been playing this week then?
Well, it's good of Anna to not be on the show because I gave her a game that I'd got because I felt so bad about not playing the Dead Island one, which I tried a little bit of, but I haven't had enough time on it to talk about.
You're such a liar. You've not even installed it, have you?
No chance. But Mighty Number 9, I got as a review this morning, sent it to her. She was like, "Oh, I'll play it for tonight," and then
she was never playing that on Orange Is the New Black Day.
No,
she's done full on sheepdog there.
That's out soon. I'll find out when. But yeah, I'm starting to think maybe we need to not get games on the day of the show. Because they just don't get reviewed in time. I need to get a bit better. Well, to be fair, they sent us that like, would you like a copy this morning? And I was like, why the hell not? It's not our fault, honest gov. But expect a review of that from Anna for next week.
Yeah.
I have been honestly trying to game while watching telly and stuff like that, but. This is something for the podcast live show, thingamajig. I've been playing Civ 5 non-stop on a massive epic world domination mode because the only type of games I can find myself playing at the moment are games like that where I can just walk away from them, I can play them while I'm watching stuff. I need better, more interesting versions than that because I find that addictive in that I'm just clicking away, one more click, but it takes up so much time, and I can't review Civilization 5 every bloody week.
Like Mass Effect all over again.
Yeah, but I'm having fun with it. I mean, I just wiped out the Koreans, although you might be able to... Have you played this much, Pab? Because I'm assuming Kev won't know the answer.
I've played this quite a lot, young man.
Right,
yeah,
so
I don't like it, so yeah.
I wiped out the Koreans' cities, killed all their troops, but it still gives them a score of 120, and they're still there denouncing me every 10 years, despite having no army.
They'll have a settler around somewhere.
Right,
they'll have let a settler out 3, and he'll just be roaming around somewhere, so you need to hunt him down and find where he is.
But the game said, well, not the game, sorry, because I was trying to find out how to not be hated by everybody for taking out someone who declared war
try
on me.
not to kill countries. That's a good
Well,
start.
yeah, he declared war on me, so I just destroyed him.
See, I just defend myself when that happens.
But it said if I wipe out his civilization, they won't like me for it, and I answered it.
Obviously.
Why? I mean, you guys are coming.
If someone came and wiped out your civilization, would you like them?
No, I don't expect him to like me, but all the neighbours won't like me, apparently.
If someone came and wiped out your neighbouring civilization, would you like them, or would you think, oh, hang about, this is the civilization wiper-outer, I should probably be a
not
bit
for the rest
wary
of
of
the
him?
time. I'm pretty sure that we've wiped out plenty of civilizations, but not everyone hates the English.
That's not strictly true, is it?
The Americans wiped out the American Indians, and
I don't think they're big fans of them still.
well, they're not, but everyone else quite likes
Yeah,
it.
the whole world loves America. That's the modern theme of international politics. How much everyone loves America, isn't it?
We buy a lot of their stuff.
It's because it's good, isn't it?
Everyone likes the Germans now.
That's true. They make good sausage and beer, though. So they've perhaps that's your solution. You need to do good sausage and beer.
Everyone likes the Japanese and the Chinese. They've wiped out a few people.
Talking of Japanese, I was waiting for an in for this. I don't know if you two have seen this, but the MGP tweet, the auto tweet that comes out, you can't see it on the video, but for some reason it's tweeted in Japanese that the show is live.
Gosh, it is.
I was looking for our tweet as well. I can't find it.
It's the Japanese one. If you have a look at MG UK podcast, it just has a link to the YouTube video and then some Japanese text, which when translated, translates to in live video presentation.
Brilliant.
So yeah, I don't know why it's tweeted in Japanese. YouTube is just on one again, apparently.
Well, I'll retweet it anyway. All the Japanese listeners will love that.
Yeah, I assume we've got perhaps
a fan base now.
Perhaps YouTube looks at the analytics and decides where most of the listener base is, and perhaps most of our subscribers are in Japan, and so it's perhaps. Are we speaking Japanese?
Konnichiwa.
Would we know if we all just started speaking Japanese? Would we know? There you go. There's a philosophical question for you.
We've got an issue with YouTube anyway, by the way.
What's the issue with YouTube?
It's stream's freezing apparently.
Only
the
for
stream.
the first.
Yeah, the stream will freeze occasionally. It's the perils of Google Hangouts, unfortunately.
Back to my kind of question anyway. The only games that I kind of feel I get away with, not get away with playing, that's the wrong word. I play with any kind of longevity at the moment are things like Civ 5, XCOM, generally sit around letting the game play itself games. When I'm not playing them, I'm playing Tapped Out, which has just brought out their new superhero event, which has got some cool fighting stuff to it, and that's upped its game a little bit. But even then, it's kind of like I'm literally just playing a game that plays itself. I look at you, Kev, playing Football Manager and building up your 4,000 followers and everything.
We refer to them as subscribers in the trade, little fella.
You barely even play that. You just talk about what it's doing on its own. So I'm kind of lost. Am I just going down an avenue of games that play themselves while the other half of the world go down an avenue of games that are really intensely technical? Like, I don't like playing games where I have to just master some crazy like just pattern with my hands, you know, like either something like the Rock Band Blitz games or even things like FIFA and bloody fighting games and shooting games. I haven't got the reflexes or the capacity to be good at them.
I think the problem is what we both need is games that are easy to pick up, satisfying to play, and you can play them in short little bursts, preferably while you're doing something else. Because we're old. It ties into the comments question of the week, which, by the way, if you're not watching it on YouTube, you can comment in the iTunes reviews. That's equally welcome. But our question of the week for that is, how do you know when you're getting too old to play video games? And I think we're hitting that age now. There's too much other stuff going on. I don't have to. I really want to play Uncharted 4. I really want to play Fallout 4. Maybe, but I've got loads of stuff that's sat there. Mirror's Edge I bought and have played for an hour and just haven't had time to go back to. Am I getting too old for games, or am I just being a fussy little weasel at the moment as well?
I don't think we're too old, because I look at people like Fimesy and John doesn't play games.
They're both much older than we are.
And, you know, we all know Pab's twice my age.
Yeah.
He plays lots of games.
Twice your age, twice your weight.
Anna's older than me. She games
She's not old. Is she older than you?
by about a month.
Oh, okay.
No, to be fair, I suppose the answer seems to be that we have to get the level of wealth that someone like Vimesy is accustomed to, where we have people doing our stuff for us.
We want someone to play our games for us. Is that what you're saying?
No, he doesn't have to do anything else. You know, Clarkey built a clan so big that he can send his kids out to work in the mines up north, while he just plays games.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. I mean, John was so well off he could own everything under the sun. Now he doesn't game as much because he's trying to build a company, but he has already said his whole aim is to get to a point where it runs itself. So he'll be gaming again in a couple of years, no doubt. So maybe that's...
He was a big League of Legends man. Perhaps that's what you need to try.
He's been playing Rocket League to death. He plays it non-stop every day.
Have you played that yet?
I've got it somewhere.
That's not what I asked, is it?
No, I think
Have you not played it?
I have played it before. Yeah, I played it.
Right. Okay, good.
I was decent at it. Really, he was quite surprised how quick I picked it up. But I did find I only had 3 or 4 plays that I would do to score, and yeah, once he got wise to them, I kind of got batted down. But I've got it on Steam. I just don't think I've because I wasn't sure I can't remember if it was Mac compatible, or I was trying to find out if it was, and then never got an answer, so left it there. But
one way to get the answer is to just try playing it on your Mac.
Oh no, I know. I'd kind of forgotten I had it until John was talking about it at lunch today. But he says he only ever plays FIFA and that, and I thought, I don't want to play FIFA all the time, and I don't really want to play a game I have to be competitive at.
When we went round to play at John's house,
that was very good fun, definitely.
FIFA was awesome. So perhaps FIFA might be the pick up and play 5-minute burst solution to all your problems.
I got to rely on someone being there to play against, and I'll get bored of it very quickly.
People like it. I hear it's popular.
I mean, our videos didn't do too bad that we did briefly.
Videos, they were good fun.
That could be something if you do that next season. Next season, and we get Sheepdog involved.
Yeah, that'd be good fun.
Well.
As long as we share it out enough between us, so that I can do the whole season on my 10-hour trial, so I don't have to buy it.
Yeah, exactly, definitely.
Sheepdog got a bit slack this year, and for the first year since we've been doing the podcast, I didn't get a review copy of it, and I'm loath to pay for it.
I didn't get slack. You just upset Microsoft by...
Microsoft don't make FIFA, Sheepdog.
Oh, not Microsoft, sorry. You upset somebody.
I know I've upset Microsoft before. Have I upset EA as well?
I'm not sure now. There was something to do with painting fences that meant we couldn't get it.
Doesn't sound like...
it's a new person in charge of the sports bits now. I emailed all the EA folks the other day asking for some swag. So
if they do remember me, just email them with a false moustache on so they don't realise who we are.
I might send an announcement out to my my entire contact list saying you died, and we've replaced you. And
send them a picture
really
of
sad.
me.
Yeah. Tell them really sad. Send us games.
Here's your solution: tell them the games are for Pab, and then I'll just have them anyway.
Yeah. Just don't tell me that it's going on behind my back. Yeah.
A couple of times they've asked who's reviewing it, and I don't think they know us. I think they just want the name of the reviewer. But I never give a name. I just say Mature Gamer and MGP now.
Got a comment in the chat here just now.
Go on, then.
Being considered, this is from Blinky the First, I think. Yep. Being considerably older than yourselves, I feel a bit guilty spending hours playing games when I should be doing more grown-up things. Rocket League is my big time sink now, though. So there you go. It's not just us.
So he feels guilty for doing it, though.
He feels guilty for yeah. Basically, he's playing the games.
Guilt isn't a feeling I'm capable of.
Do you reckon the difference is that they live in 5-bed houses or something?
How would that be? I don't
understand.
understand.
What's not do anything?
If I had an additional bedroom, I'd go play in it.
You have an additional bedroom.
It's got a bed in it, though.
What does that mean? You go sleep instead of play games in it?
No, it just means I can't set up a nice little man cave in there and play games. Can't. It's too
what
small.
kind of monster would have a man cave in their house? That would be wrong.
That's your dining room as well.
It is. Well, there's no dining facilities in here though.
You used to have a TV in there for gaming on. I bet you'd game more if you had that back.
I've got the monitor the other side of this. I've got a computer set up in here now. So
I don't think Mrs. Sheepdog would let me set a telly up in here.
Just don't tell her.
You just do it.
How many times have I told you it's easier to ask for forgiveness than permission?
It's getting it past her, though, isn't it?
Oh, send her to the shops. There you go, love. Go get yourself something pretty. Send her up the shops. Get a new dress or something. When she gets back, what's that you set up in the dining room there, sheepdog? Oh no, this was here all along, my dear. That's a very pretty dress you're wearing. Have you had your hair done? And then there you go. Problem smoothed over.
Fair. I've already got some awesome tokens. I bought flowers for her and my daughter, and a bow and arrow for my son earlier, because that's the male equivalent. So I'm owed some awesome points. Maybe I'll set up a den in there tomorrow.
There you go, problem solved. What other games have we played this week? I feel we may have drifted off topic slightly there.
Yeah, that ended up there, yeah. It's just me now, isn't it? It's basically me now,
I've played
isn't it?
Football Manager.
Yeah? You not playing anything else?
No.
No, right.
It's been E3 week. I've
Yeah.
been E3ing my face off and playing Football Manager when I've only been able to put out 3 videos to my channel this week because I've just not had the time to make them. It's the first time since October I've not been doing daily content.
Yeah.
Because I just haven't had any time.
It's the Chapman Plateau. You're slowly dwindling away.
Don't worry, my plans are back on it like nobody's business tomorrow. Get a week set up so that I can get ahead again. I used to be so far ahead. But
Surely you record like in big chunks, wouldn't you?
no, I used to, but I found it was more fun to record them each day because then I could talk about the comments from the day before, and it was more of a community interaction back and forth thing. So I like that, but I should have had some setup in advance for this week. But silly old me thinking, E3's only 2 nights. I'll be reeked. Not realising that I'm nearly 30 now, and staying up late 2 nights in a row just ruined me. I'm getting old.
Just got a comment in the chat from Jake. He's asked the question: have any of you played the new Resident Evil demo yet?
I know Anna had it downloaded, and I watched her install it, so that's all.
That counts.
That counts, yeah. That definitely counts.
So other than that, no.
I'll tell you what, if I will try to download it and try and have a go of it. I hate these games, so you're not
because
much.
You're scared of them.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I saw that at E3 and I went, no, I don't want anything to do with that. But I'll tell you what, I will give it a go. Provided I can find it on the PlayStation Store, because apparently it's not easy to find.
It sounds like a YouTube video that you should make, and especially if you're a big scaredy cat, you should have a camera on as well.
I would love to do that, but the PlayStation is a pain in the ass to record from. It doesn't let you. When I'm taking the game out from my capture card, it doesn't let me take the sound out without. How does this work now? The sound can go into the capture card, but then it doesn't come out the. It's a nonsense. It's a pain in the ass.
You want your headphones plugged into your computer. That's how old Kev does it when he's using the PlayStation.
I could, yeah, maybe.
But then it's on ever such a slight delay, and that's trouble.
Yeah, that's. Well, I get the sound. That's the thing. I get the sound through the PC, but it's on a delay. So it's a pain in the ass. It's all a load of faffing, and PlayStation's a load of nonsense to me. So anyway, games we've played.
What are you doing, Dave?
Hello.
What are you doing?
Oh, Cameo.
So what have you played then, Pep?
I continue to play Overwatch. I continue to play
Wait for the
Overwatch
microphone.
and just absolutely, like I said, I just hammering this game now. This is all I play. Whenever I get a spare time, it's just what I play constantly. It's just so good, and like I said, they're constantly updating the live like weekly like match hoppers. So it's changed this week to, I think last week it was all Genjis versus all Hanzos, which are 2 characters in the game, and then this week it's all soldiers, and it's just so good. I continue to, like I say, I really am enjoying Overwatch, and like I say, you come into the TeamSpeak, and there is more often than not 2 or 3 people playing it at a time. So you get into a group and you start playing it, and that's what I continue to do all week, really. Not much more I can say about Overwatch. Like I say, it's just brilliant, and if you get a chance to play it, do so.
I am tempted, but again,
that is a game. That is a game for you that you're saying you want a nice easy game you can just jump straight into. It's fun. Is competitive without being like aggressively competitive and off-putting. That is that game. The amount of games,
it's a shooter, though, isn't it?
yeah, well, but used to be the Battlefield brothers, you two, didn't you?
Yeah.
In Battlefield and what
That's
have you.
what we were known as on the streets before the
Yeah.
game came out, even.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
we play that wrong though? I mean, we play it right. Kev drives. I ride shotgun. We capture the flag.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and you used to play that Gotham City Imposters.
I loved that
exactly,
game.
and that is Overwatch is very much in that sort of.
Do I have to get it on PC to play with you crazy kids?
You would do, yeah, but I use a controller anyway. I sometimes wish I had used the mouse and keyboard, because sometimes it requires a bit of fidelity, but there's so many characters in there don't require fidelity, and you can just, like I say, there's lots of splash damage on the characters and whatever. Using the controller doesn't make any difference whatsoever, and I use it, so it's fine.
How much is this going to set me back? I might investigate.
I mean, let's have a look. 35 quid, maybe. I really don't know. It depends where you go for it. And it depends which version you want as well. You can just get the standard version, which will cost you less as well. Without the
standard version will do me fine. Is there a reason to not get the standard version?
No, the Origins edition is what they're trying to push on you. That's the one that's on the front of Blizzard, and that's the game they sell on the consoles, and that comes with half a dozen skins or whatever for characters. But you don't need them at all.
I've already got the skin.
Yeah, exactly.
If anything, too much skin.
Yeah. So I don't know how much the actual regular edition is on Blizzard itself, but I imagine it between 30 and 35 quid.
I'm investigating now.
Yeah. The other thing I've played a couple of other things. I bought Doom last week. Last weekend I bought Doom. I went into Game, and I had a voucher for Game, and I was like, I want to get rid of this voucher because Game, I feel insulted by Game at times. The prices in that shop are extortionate. I feel like, you know what it was, Kev? I feel like when we were in that bookshop looking at notepads, I'm going, how much?
Yeah, it's like Sheepdog walking into that shop that I can't remember, Super Dry.
Yeah.
That's what he was like in the Moleskin shop, Sheepdog.
Yeah.
Can't take him anywhere. These northern people, £15 for a notebook. Yeah, it's got Batman on pub. I'll have a piece of that action.
Yeah, they are nice, but I wouldn't pay 15 quid for them. Anyway, so I went into Game on last weekend, and I was like, let's just get rid of this voucher, because I have to keep them to go in to see if there's any deals or something decent in there to get it, just to get rid of it, because I feel obliged to go in because I've still got this card on me, this gift voucher. So I go in there, and Doom was 27 quid. I went, all right, okay, that's about how much it is to get.
That's a good price for Doom.
Yeah, that was on PC as well. It was $29.99 on consoles. I was like, yeah, that's all right, considering how long it's been out. That's a decent price. So I thought, sod it, I'm just going to buy it, because I played the first level on the Friends account a few weeks ago for the video on the YouTube channel. That's up there now. I was like, yeah, this game is really worth playing. At some point, you need to pick this up. So there you go. I picked it up, and I've played another couple of levels, and I thought that the shooting and what have you in Overwatch was fast and fluid and what have you. Then you go into Doom, and it's like knocked up another notch. It is incredibly twitchy, incredibly fast. And that's me using a controller on the PC, and it's just the heavy metal music banging out and what have you. And it's just a really good shooting game. If you want a first-person shooter, it's just single player and a great, like, it's really fun to play. That is the one to play at the minute. It's that is well worth a look.
Well, that's just sat in the living room, so I might have to have a go on
that. Give that a go, Kev, because that might reinvigorate some of your shooting there.
I think that's part of my problem as well, because Anna buys everything that ever comes out. I've got such a pile of games in there. It's a bit overwhelming. Let's try something today. Okay, there's 40 different options that I haven't played yet that all look quite good. And by the time I've looked through them all to try and decide, bedtime is it? Oh well, try again next month.
Yeah, it can be like that. That's the thing, when you have so many games to play, it becomes a bit daunting and overwhelming to even get into one. So yeah, that's Doom. Last thing I've played, we mentioned in the E3 program on Tuesday, was it? Tuesday?
It was on Tuesday.
Yeah, Trails of the Blood Dragon.
Ooh, now you're talking. I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's on the YouTube channel now. There is a video online for that. That is a Trials game, all right. That certainly is a Trials game, but they've added like these it's like a story. It's like a story of these two
Hmm.
kids. You've seen the trailer for it, haven't you? It's the story of the two kids of the Blood Dragon guy from the Far Cry Blood Dragon, and this guy got these like weird like sort of not anime cutscenes, but the cartoony cutscenes in it, and it's just crazy at times. It's all sorts of weird and wacky. Like there's like full motion video in there as well. A bit at times, you're like, what is going on?
Here's
Anyway,
my important question about
go on.
Trials before you go any further. How soon does it get really hard?
I've played about 10 to 12 levels now, and it's not difficult to be
Because that
fair.
was my big problem with the newest version of Trials.
Yeah.
It got really hard too fast, and I felt like I was not getting the full game because I wasn't able to unlock enough of the stars or whatever it is you have to unlock to be able to get into the future stuff. Whereas previously, I've managed to unlock everything but just not finish the last ones. On the newest one, on the Xbox One, there's probably 20-30% of the game that I've not been able to unlock because it got too hard too soon for me.
Yeah, I mean, I would say I'm in a similar boat as you there. I stopped when it got too difficult for the new one, Trials Fusion, and I was like, nope, no, I can't do these. I just end up stop playing. So for me to go back, I found it all right. I tell you what, I did do straight away. First level on the video. 2 minutes into the video, I spent an entire probably 5 minutes on the first level. Couldn't do it. Didn't understand what was going on. I was like, this bike is going far too slow for me. I don't understand why it's doing this. And then I realised I had the hair triggers on the Elite controller, so it only pulls halfway. So he's only going at half speed all the time, so I could never get over any jumps. I was like, "What is good?" I thought I broke the game, and I was getting really annoyed with it. And I eventually figured that out and then pushed through it. And
That's what you get for having a fancy controller.
yeah, it would seem that way. Yeah. And it's a good game. I mean, I think they said there's 30 story levels, so it's better 30 levels on it. And it tells
How
you
much does it cost?
$11.99, I think.
See, I'm now thinking this is the game that I'm going to get tomorrow.
Yeah,
Forget
I think
Overwatch or any of that. I
Yeah.
do like a Trials game.
Yeah, it is good. Like I say, I've done about 10 to 12 levels in, and it's not particularly difficult. There's a shooting mechanic in it now.
There's
So-
a lot now.
You know how the new game they had like the right stick and you do tricks with it, was it?
Yeah.
That seems right. Now you use the right stick as a like where you aim the gun and you just automatically fire when you start aiming. So there's an extra element to the game now. You've got to try. You'll see it in the video that I've made. You'll see me crashing onto it because I'm too busy trying to aim the gun without trying to balance on a bike. It gets difficult. That becomes challenging to you. But I've seen many people do it on other videos of this
Well,
game.
it sounds very much like we all need to check out this video, and there will be a link to it down in the notes below, so you can all watch that, and I'll watch that as well, and I'll pop one of my favourite little likes on there to say, good show, Old Bean, what an excellent video.
Yeah.
Assuming if it's rubbish, I won't.
It might well be rubbish, to be fair. First 5 minutes.
I'm not afraid of thumbs down in you if it's not very good, Pab, but you know.
You'll be the first thumbs down on the channel. No, you'll be one of the first thumbs down on the channel, I think. So there you go. But that's about it, really. Yeah. I will continue to play the Trials of the Blood Dragon because it doesn't seem that long, to be fair. So I can get through that pretty quick, and hopefully I'll complete that.
I have been asked by Anna to mention Costume Quest 2. I haven't played it. I played the original years ago. I think I got it in a Humble Bundle, maybe. But Costume Quest 2 is available for free for Xbox Live Gold subscribers at the moment as part of the Games with Gold. She has really, really enjoyed it and played it through and finished it this week. So she'll tell you all about that next week when she's back on the show. But it's time sensitive. If you've got Xbox Live Gold, you need to get that download. So I don't know how long these Games with Gold games hang around for. I don't even know for sure it's still on there. But if it is, get on there. Get it because it's one of the better ones that's been on Games with Gold in the recent past. There you go. Are you checking now? Is that what's happening?
Googling. I'm Googling. I'll find it for you.
Aren't you a good boy? It's good that someone has this professionalism to take these things seriously.
Games with Gold currently showing up Costume Quest 2, Goat Simulator, The Crew, Super Meat Boy, and XCOM. Enemy Unknown. That's what it's saying right now. So
that's a lot of games. I thought there was only two at a time on there.
Two at a time, yeah. That's what's confusing me.
I guess that's including some of the backwards compatibility stuff. I imagine XCOM is a 360 version of that, is it? It's not going to be the newer XCOM.
No. Super Meat Boy and XCOM Enemy Unknown are Xbox 360 games, but obviously every Xbox 360 game now that is on Games with Gold is backwards compatible. So you might as well get them on anyway.
Absolutely.
16th for the 5th, 15th to the 15th of the 6th. That's
Oh,
gone.
how about?
That's gone, hasn't it?
Well, if it's still showing on there, you might be able to use it in still.
Yeah, maybe.
So do it right now. Do it now. Do it now. I'll even let you stop watching for a minute. Go and do that, then come back.
That might be an error. That might not. Do not know. But usually they change over halfway through the month, don't they, and take an old one off and put a new one on. Yeah. The crew it on earlier in the week, so. No, that's it. I don't think that's available anymore. Costume Quest 2.
Never
available 16th for the 5th, 16th for the 5th to 15th for the 6th.
Well, hopefully you all picked it up when it was available, and if you haven't tried it yet, give it a try because it looks very pretty. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Especially if you enjoyed the original. I will play this at some point because it looks rather splendid, and I did enjoy the original one.
Imagine if you hang around long enough, the Steam sale will have it for next to nothing anyway.
Steam sale's coming up again soon, is it not?
Summer sale. Imagine so, yeah.
It's Anna gave me the dates earlier. It's I know it finishes on the 4th of July and it runs for a couple of weeks. So it must be starting any time now. So that's tie your wallets up, hide them away, suggest stuff for Sheepdog to buy in the sale. There you go. Yeah. We can get MGPX SOS up and running even sooner.
Yeah, I know there's currently the good old game sale. GOG.com is they've got a big sale on now, so maybe they're getting their sale out of the way before trying to get in before Steam this time. That's
I don't know how I feel about the business sense of doing that because I think I'd still be inclined to wait for better deals on Steam.
Yeah, but the good old games have a lot of older stuff, don't they? They have a lot of stuff and it's also
they have a lot of good old stuff. I hear.
Yeah, it's also whatever it is, free, download without any DRM and all that stuff, so that's how they work about it, don't they?
Splendid.
But yeah, that's about it.
That's it for games this week, is it? Well, we will roll straight into no jingle because we're just doing it live stuff. I haven't worked out how to do that yet.
We could break things up by doing a quick plug for Beard Pie.
What the hell is Beard Pie?
It's Jake Body's new show that he started this week. So if you do want more game stuff, you can go there and check that out.
Is it any good? Yeah. I haven't listened.
I haven't yet either.
Could be a load of turd. Let's hope it's any good. Where does he tell us where we can find that? Do we just Google it or look on his Twitter?
I've been retweeting it all day when he tweets it. I'm not sure.
Look at Sheepdog's Twitter then.
Yeah, Beard Pie as in PI.
So Beard Pit.
Beard Private Investigations.
And their slogan is "It's like pie without the E," isn't it? I think that was their slogan that I saw. Maybe. No?
That is I Heart Beard Pie.
I'll give up. I'm trying to be maths gags and all that rubbish. So, has anyone watched any films this week then?
Films? No, not for me.
Sheepdog?
I'm checking my list. No, I've not got any films this week.
No, we watched E3. That was basically a film.
Yeah. Might as well have been a bit. 8 hours of film.
Yeah, exactly. Tell us about what you've been watching on telly then, Sheepdog.
Well, I watched the first episode of Orange is the New Black, as I said.
The first ever episode of it.
Yeah. Are they always hour-long episodes? I thought it was only 20 to 30 minutes an episode.
No, it's like your normal 52-minute.
Yeah, I was surprised. Great comeback to the season. It was brilliant. I'd forgotten how much I liked it. I'd been apprehensive all month, thinking it was going to be a bit cack, but no, it's fantastic. They sort of tied up everything that was hanging from last season and cracked on with the new season all in one go. It was very, very fast-paced, and yeah, the fact that Anna's managed to watch nearly all of them today and will have finished it by bedtime. I can imagine
upstairs watching it now. I imagine.
I'm hoping that my wife stays up long enough for us to watch another 1 or 2 episodes. I also have been binge watching Once Upon a Time. I've spoken about this before, haven't I?
Yeah, my daughter likes this.
Yeah, it's really good, really good. It's the thing that makes it cool is, as well as having its own story, that it just kind of goes through each week in the main town they all live in, Storybrooke.
What a name!
There's also flashbacks and stuff that's kind of set in the storybook world, where they're all their characters, and half the time you don't know who the person was before they were moved to this universe, kind of thing. So it's quite fun finding out what they were, or piecing it together throughout the episode. Like I was watching one where you found out someone was Captain Hook, and it taken a little while to figure that out.
Off of Star Trek.
And like Pinocchio, all sorts of characters like that. So it's got a very good story, very good characters, fantastic characters, and I'd just recommend it. It's really good because it's got, as I say, it does its story. You know how Arrow has its modern day story that it goes through, and Lost had its modern day story, but then it had flashbacks are free to break.
I'm familiar with the concept of the flashback. Yes.
Yeah, it's both stories are kind of I go through phases of preferring the flashback story to the current one, although that's never the case in Arrow. The flashback story is always the bit where you think, right, I'm going to go for a quick wee.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They only had 30 minutes of real story this week, did they? Oh, look at him with his silly wig again.
The thing that drives me nuts about that, and I've not watched Arrow long enough to realise this is what happens every season, but I've read on the internet it is, when they have the flashback in the finale, it's like he's remembering something he learned a decade ago that will help him solve the problem he's got now, which is always rather convenient. He remembered he'd been lent some magic by Constantine in one episode.
Really handy.
Yeah, and so he used it, and it was like, are you kidding me? You didn't remember this the other 4 seasons I've been watching, but you just happened to remember you and John Constantine were best mates once upon a time when you were on an island. And the fact that he chronologically should have left the island by now, but he just kind of left and went back a few times. That's equally bizarre. They need to cut that out.
It's back and forth all the time now. He's got his prison there.
Yeah, but they need to cut that out. They should do flash forwards or something. Do like a Justice League flash forward 10 years. But no, once upon a time, I don't. If Anna was here now telling me it was rubbish, I probably wouldn't get as angry as I did over Orphan Black. But it's definitely not rubbish. It's really fun. Orphan Black finishes tonight. Speaking of it, today's finale was released. So, did she watch much of that after going off and watching it?
I know she hasn't, but I suspect someone else maybe has.
Yes, Sheepdog.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's an Adam Sandler film. Yeah, I forgot about it until yesterday, and I went, "Oh crap!" He's going to be asking, so I went and I watched the first 2 episodes, as promised. I'll tell you what,
I've just adjusted myself to the edge of my seat now.
Yeah, all right, okay. I tell you what, it's all right.
Good, yeah.
It's all right. The first episode, I can see what you mean about the accent. The accents are weird.
I'd forgotten. When Anna was saying the accent was terrible from that person, I thought she meant one of the main. I think I said in the end, didn't I? There's a main character who has an Eastern European accent, which is fine. She's just her, and it's brilliant. But I thought she meant her, and that's one of my favourite characters. So I was really like, how dare you? But then I remembered that there was this random. I think she's meant to be German.
There is a German.
Yeah, and I think her German accent wasn't great. But that woman is only in it for like a little bit before she gets killed or something.
Is she meant to be English or British?
The actress, I think, is British.
Yeah, she meant to play British though, because the is it a brother or something like that? He's meant to be British, isn't he?
Yeah, Felix is English, definitely.
Yeah. Well, is she meant to be English as well? Because she goes into a bit of Cockney every and again.
Oh yeah, they all in the story were raised in London.
Right, okay, because for the whole first episode I thought she was Australian.
No, that
was what Anna said as well, I think.
Yeah, well, maybe that's what threw me. And I said, oh, so this is who she means is Australian then. Because I didn't doubt it until I got into the second episode, and I went, I'm going to no. He's English. That is definitely like a Cockney accent.
I'm not going to check now because I don't want to accidentally read what happens in the finale. Yeah. But I'm certain she's English as an actress. If she's not, but I'm pretty sure she's English. Because her whole family in it is English. It'd be weird for them to just cast an American.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I'd say that program it got me intrigued. I got to the end of the second episode where basically she finds the soccer mum.
Yeah, and I was going to say she's my favourite character, but I've already said one of the other ones was that she's a great character.
So she finds a soccer mum and says, and she goes, "All right, you're my sister," and she goes, "You don't have a clue what's going on here." And another one comes out, and you're like, "Okay, what is going on here?" And I'm not 100% sure what's going on after that first episode where it just kicks off straight away, pretty much where someone jumps in front of a train. You're like, okay, this is. And it just seems to get. It's just like she's just like digging herself a hole deeper and deeper, isn't she? At the minute, she's just going for a quick scam, and then she's got to do this, and she's got to do that.
Well, that's kind of it, and I'd say today's like the end of the 4th season, and yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I've got some catching up then.
Yeah, but they're short seasons. I think they're like 10 episodes a season.
Oh, right, okay,
good. So it's. I was thinking 3 weeks ago. They've resolved a lot of the things that I thought were pressing storyline points. And then the next episode, I was like, oh god, yeah, they haven't done that. It's like Jesus. There's so much going on in that show. It's brilliant. I could rewatch it all and forget stuff, and but it must take so long to film, as you can already probably imagine.
I don't know what when you were talking, and I was thinking, it is all the same actress, isn't it? This episode before. I was like, yeah, it must be, and it was obvious that is the answer. Yeah, that must be a real
amazing.
It must be a real pain in the ass to have to. Because I don't know, I've only seen a room where there's 3 of them in the room, so I can imagine there's probably there's no more episodes where there's more than 3 of them in a room. I don't know.
What makes me laugh is if I had been given that job and had to do the not that I'm not saying I can't do accents for a start, but if they just
you do a good Cockney.
Yeah, if they just said, right, in this episode they're gonna have a character that's just sheepdog without his glasses on, talking in a slightly, it just looks like me without my glasses on. If I slick my hair back, it's just me with my hair slicked back. I was annoyed the other day because I basically got glasses and no one really noticed. At first, because it's always just me. I just look the same no matter what. I don't look like I couldn't do Clark Kent Superman by taking my glasses off.
I don't know. It really emphasises your lack of eyebrows if you take your glasses off. It does look like there's. Yeah. I mean, it looks like you've been in an accident or something. Like someone's. Are you familiar with the wrestler Kane?
Because of the way my hair.
You look like Kane when he first took off his mask. When you take off your glasses. If no one knows what I'm talking about, you need to Google Kane taking off his mask for the first time. It's
never melted face or something.
Yeah, a little bit.
Right. But yeah, so I'm impressed. They must have spent ages trying to find somebody who looked sufficiently different with dreadlocks and thick glasses and slick back hair, blonde hair.
Yeah.
When you meet the woman I'm talking about, the one who's Ukrainian, I think. I love the fact they've all got these certain little tweaks to what they do. So one of them eats like just a gross monster. Like she'll just like stick food in her mouth and just be like. It hanging out of her mouth, and she's just chatting away, talking and eating, and I just look at her and think that's so good, because then there's another character who's like really prim and proper and everything, and they've all got their own personalities, and I wouldn't be able to do it. It would just be there's sheepdog eating badly, there's sheepdog trying to be clever, so they must have spent a lot of time casting her, and she's really good at it.
Yeah. It's in a chat. Blinky the first just put have to agree with sheepdog. Orphan Black is pretty good. Started watching it today. I thought she was an Aussie too, he says.
Hey.
There you go. So
I might have to watch this just to cast the deciding vote.
Yeah, maybe. Watch the first episode. Because I watched the first episode. Yeah, it's on Netflix. Is it on?
It is. Watch the first 4 seasons, mate.
I haven't got time for that. We've just been talking about me not having time for stuff. I can't. I'm still a season behind on Arrow, and I've got the Blu-ray sat there. And
for being in the chat, I do have eyebrows. They're just really light.
All right.
Ding dang in the chat has put out. How have you lost your eyebrows?
All right, Kane, pipe down.
When I used to go on holiday to Europe as a kid, people thought I was German because my eyebrows are so blonde.
Is that a German trait?
Apparently so. I never knew it was until then, but I'd just get people coming up to me and just being like, Guten Tag, and I'd just be like, what? I'm English. And all the Germans wanted to be my friend on holiday.
Well, there you go. So that was Orphan Black. Are we ready to do our weekly Game of Thrones spoiler section?
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
So here's your spoiler alert. Whether you're listening, watching live, whatever it is, we are going to spoil this week's episode of Game of Thrones. If you don't want to know about that, fingers in your ears for the next 5 minutes or so. You probably won't even need that long, but this is your spoiler warning. We are about to spoil this week's episode of Game of Thrones. Brace yourself.
This was probably one of the weaker ones they've done, isn't it? I thought.
Um,
Remind me what happened again. You know I don't ever remember until you start telling me about it.
So the popular theory was that Arya had
Oh, this was the sheepdog theory, wasn't it? That it wasn't her, and then
yeah.
we found out, yeah, it was her.
Yeah, and it was bizarre because the theory was meant to be that she'd been stabbed, but it wasn't her, and the real her was still
I tell
asleep
you
off in
what,
that cave.
someone had been stabbed in the gut. She does a chase scene remarkably well.
yeah, I
But
thought that.
especially when she slid under that cart on her stomach and then just leapt straight back up again.
Mm.
I'm thinking, well, that's open to stitches
But
up there,
then,
love.
They did.
she didn't have any stitches, mate. She'd had a bit of a damp wipe
Bandages
down
on.
and a bit of morphine. Um, what made it even less convincing for me was the fact that she lost the waif while running and ducked behind something, went a different route, and then before you know it, suddenly she's appeared on the wall behind her, chasing her down. And I just kind of thought, I get they're supposed to be master assassins, and Eyes had training to that effect. So someone was saying, defending it online, that she's supposed to be able to heal really quickly as part of her training. And I was like, well, that wasn't made clear earlier on, in my opinion.
How do you
But,
train someone to heal quickly?
Yeah.
God knows. Well, she was blind for a bit and got given that stuff that made her suddenly not blind. So I think the idea was that they give them medicine that boosts them a bit, gives them sort of magicness. I mean, they can wear other people's faces and become them, so, you know. But what I also read and had wondered about in the show myself was whether the waif even exists, because you only ever see her and that Jacquin fella chat alone, and whenever Arya or her walk in, the other leaves. So it could have been a whole Fight Club thing. And the chase scene, the new theory there is that it was all her. Basically, if she'd have let the waif win, she'd have become no one and become a faceless man. But she,
What, so she stabbed herself in the gut? Seems odd.
God knows, maybe she didn't get stabbed. I'm waiting. There's got to be some resolution here to it. It can't. Right, if we get to the end of the season, nothing happens, and it's literally just she had a fight, she got hurt, she won, and she's gone off on her merry way.
That is the resolution, surely.
Yeah.
She's
That's
going
cool.
home. That is the
Yeah.
resolution. You probably won't see her again till next season. Then.
I think she'll see the waif on the boat home.
No,
Be like, oh my god.
she's had her away. She's gone.
I think that's just me clutching at straws because it was so bad otherwise.
I feel like
Terrible.
they've got too many different things going on in the other stories that they probably wrapped her up early and they're going to start. I mean, what's the
It was super fun when she just chopped the top off the candle, though.
Yeah, but even then I said to Claire, I was like, well, how do we know that that's her who won and not the other one? Because they can swap faces and pretend to each other whenever they want. So
Because they put her face on the.
Yeah.
yeah,
her
because
face.
she weren't wearing that face, she was wearing Arya's face.
But I don't think they take their
They
own
take
face
their own
off.
face off to put.
They just put the new face on
okay.
over the top.
Yeah.
Well, that's not strictly true.
What, you think they leave their face in the
Yeah,
the
you
room
have to.
there?
I'm sure you do. I'm sure that's the rule. You swap a face for a face. You
But
don't,
when
you
she got
become
stabbed
no
by
one.
the waif, the waif was an old lady, and then she became herself again. So she didn't nip home, swap her face. She had her own face with her, probably underneath the old lady face.
I don't know then.
Didn't we even see her peel off the old lady
Yeah,
face, and her face was underneath?
That's not supposed to be how it works in the books, though, and that I'm more certain.
It's not a book now, nerd.
No, but the thing is, it's not. But you're telling me that they could just pull a face on and look like a completely normal person.
Yeah,
Part
like
of
you have. Like you've pulled Kane's face on.
part of the problem the show's got is that fella who trains her isn't actually one person in the books either. It's like loads of different random anonymous people that all look the same, like because they just keep swapping the faces out and stuff.
Well, perhaps that's what's happening.
So anyway, yeah, I like the idea that there's more of a Fight Club thing going on, and her training was all about killing one of her personalities. That would make more sense than she just got chased by a Terminator lady who was supposed to be, you know, massively superior to her as a fighter, and then she just beat her in the dark. I don't know. It just felt like they rushed it. I like the Jamie story, taking that castle without killing anyone.
I like all Jamie stories. I like Jamie, I've decided.
Yeah.
I felt it was a bit crap how they just said the blackfish is dead, just randomly. That
He's
maybe
not dead.
he can't be dead at
No.
all. He can't be because they just wouldn't.
They'd
Oh,
show
by
it
the
if he
way,
was
he's
dead.
dead. But then
Yeah.
I wondered, like, maybe it's someone in the helmet. It could have been like, if I was him, I'd have been saying, "Oh, mate, just go up there and tell him I'm dead." And someone nip up tells him no one's going to look for him anymore. Job done. Didn't like how, for no reason, everyone turned on the Blackfish just because Edmure came back. It was a bit odd. And I didn't really
doing as they were told, weren't they?
There's also the way they argued, and it was like, I'm never going to listen to you, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, he's been released. I thought, again, it was a bit bizarre that I said to my friend, it felt like that episode, they cut a load of scenes to allow Tyrion to have that conversation with Melisandre, is it, and Grey Worm, which was I liked the jokes. One of my friends said it was rubbish. He found it really boring, but I quite liked the fact that they were so.
It gave them all a bit of personality.
Yeah.
We need character for those two because they are just a bit. They've been in it for 2 seasons now, maybe even longer, and they don't really have personalities.
But to me, it was like they said, look how relaxed they are. There's absolutely nothing going on here. They're so bored that they're trying to tell jokes to each other. There's so little happening here at the moment. They're just lost. And then bang, they are suddenly under attack. They've been taken by absolute surprise. I didn't think they should have brought Daenerys back in that scene. It was a bit random. They were just like, oh, we're completely screwed. What's going to happen? And then she just walks in. It was like, oh.
That's how she rolls. She's a badass.
But they should have left it till next week, is what I'm saying. They should have waited. They should have left it as we're all going to die and then brought her in next week. Use that 20 seconds on explaining how Arya didn't die or whatever, or how Edmure got away. It feels like they cut the wrong scene out of that episode, is what I'm saying. It was just odd. It seems like they trimmed that down too much.
How many episodes have we got left of this season now?
2.
2, yeah.
Battle of the Bastards.
Goes too quickly, doesn't it?
Battle of the Bastards is on Sunday.
Is it 9, this next one? Because 9 is when they start. Is when usually the infamous episode where they kill someone major off, don't they? Usually
did I tell you about the? So there's this guy my mate makes pictures with, and he's got a reputation now of being a prophet because he predicts what's going to happen in every episode, weeks or months or years in advance of it happening. And in reality, what's happening is my friend is saying, I think you should draw a picture of Tyrion looking over the wall as a load of boats come down on Marine. And then when it came up on that episode, I said to Cal, I've seen that picture. Calvin said draw that. And so everyone thought this guy was psychic again. So this week he's just written this big don't read this if you don't want to know what happens in the next episode thing. And he wrote this big sort of 1-page A4 thing of what he thinks is going to happen in the next 2 episodes, as though they were real spoilers. I thought I'd been spoiled until I realised who'd written it and realised that he's just playing up to his thing. But he prophesied that Rickon will be killed. So I'm wondering if that will happen now. Would that count as a major death? Do you think? Would you consider?
No, because he's been in it for maybe 3 episodes in the entire run.
Yeah,
but he is the heir of Winterfell.
One of. He's like 19th in line by now, isn't he?
No, because nobody knows that Jon's been legitimised, and Sansa's a woman.
Bran's still alive.
Everyone thinks he's dead, though.
Hmm.
And everyone thinks Arya's dead, although she wouldn't count because she's a girl as well. So Rickon is the heir of Winterfell.
Nah.
Although,
that's not major enough, to be fair. It really isn't.
no.
No.
If they wouldn't kill Sansa, I hope they kill Littlefinger. That'd be good.
They won't kill Littlefinger.
I wish they would.
He's not been in it enough, to be fair.
It's
He's
like
been
the
in
worst.
like 3 episodes, maybe.
He'll be in this one, I'm assuming, because she
Yeah.
wrote a letter to him, didn't she? Saying, "Bring your army, you son of a gun."
Yeah. Yeah, the big battle's
They'll
going to
just kill Ramsay, won't they? That'll be your big death. Ramsay will die.
You'd like to think so, but they probably won't, because I just feel like he's got more in him yet. He's a despicable character, isn't he? But
The finale is called Winds of Winter, and I'm wondering whether that means the battle's going to kick off from, whether the wall's going to fall. That's my prediction. Episode 10.
I thought it can't fall. Or there's magic in the
By
wall.
the Hall of Winter.
Oh, isn't that some sort of magic in the wall or something?
Yeah, there's a mythical legend that there's some magic horn that, if blown,
Yeah,
will
there is a horn there, isn't
bring
there?
the wall down on itself, and there it is. You just heard it. But, yeah, if that happens, then I think that'd be a great payoff for either the end of episode 9, or I don't want it to be the end of episode 10, because then that means there wouldn't be any epic attack happening. But I suppose it'd be a good finish to episode 10 if the wall fell.
But then the monsters will come in, Sheepdog.
Yeah.
I don't want the monsters. That sounds scary.
I'm hoping they reunite One Weg Wonder One with his family.
Anyway, any other TV this week before we get into everyone's favourite part of the show?
Yes, loads of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, crack on then.
Outcast.
See, I haven't seen episode 2 of this yet because it's fallen by the wayside with how busy I've been with everything else. So, is it still awesome?
Yeah,
Have you read the comic yet? I want to know
No,
if it's following the
I don't
comic.
think I'm going to read the comic. I think I'm just going to stick to the program. I've got too many comics to be getting on with.
The comic's excellent, though.
Yeah, but this program borderline puts me off watching it because it's a bit too creepy for me. All that demon stuff and whatever. It's a bit weird.
I plan to watch this over the weekend.
Yeah, this episode's alright.
If it's identical to issue 2 of the comic, the way episode 1 was the same as issue 1, then I'm not sure I'll bother because I'll just assume the whole thing is going to be what I've already read.
Yeah, I mean, this episode was focused mainly on the relationship between him and his mum.
Yeah.
And it focused on it was a lot of flashbacks and what have you, and there was a lot of focusing, like I say, on. You alright?
Yeah, I was seeing if the comic was within reach, so I could see what was in issue 2.
Yeah, it was. It's definitely like I say, it's very much. There wasn't so much. Like the first episode was very much a impactful episode with a lot of it was quite gruesome and quite. It wasn't like that. It was a much more psychological episode for the main character. Is he the main character? He's
yeah, he's the
main character. Or is the Reverend the main character? I always thought the Reverend was the main.
It's a buddy story. They're both in it all the way. Well, yeah, there you go. There's your spoiler. They're both in it 18 issues in.
Yeah. Well,
so they don't die yet.
Yeah, and there's an arc starting to form with raccoons being nailed to trees. If that means anything to you.
No.
There's like a series of animals. I think it's raccoons. It looks like raccoons that have been all cut open and dissected and they're strapped to trees. And the sheriff goes looking for them. Starts investigating why the things start turning just all strapped to trees. So yeah, I keep watching it. But like I say, it gets a bit much for me because it's not that sort of horror.
Because you're a big girl's blouse.
Yeah, basically, horror is not my scene really usually, but I will. It's not that bad. Like I say, it's not something where it's unwatchable to me at the minute. So I'll continue to watch it.
Has there been another episode of Preacher and I've missed that as well?
Episode 3.
For goodness sake.
This is why I get 4 hours a night because I've been trying to keep up to date. Yeah, this week's episode of Preacher was good. Had he told Cassidy about his powers yet in the last episode?
Yeah.
Had he?
I think that happened in episode 1, didn't it?
No, episode 2. No, that's it. That's in the book. Episode 2 ended with him telling that girl to open her eyes.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, and he's in this episode. He starts off. He's freaked out by it, and he tells to Cassidy, and he has him doing stupid things.
Oh, and awesome! This sounds like my kind of episode.
He can't believe what's happening, and we see a return of the angels.
Who's having a fight?
I don't know. I'm sat here. I think it's Sheepdog.
We know it's Sheepdog because the screen.
Yeah, because screen went to Sheepdog.
That's passing my wife my empty bottle.
Yeah, it's the return of the what are the angels called? I can't remember the name of the angels.
I can't remember.
But the two Cockney geezers, aren't they, in this?
Yeah.
And yeah, they turn up again. To which Cassidy, well, I'm not gonna say. I'll leave it to you, but it's a good episode.
Excellent.
It makes me want to watch more of this. I'll tell you what I've done. I've bought the book now, Kev.
Good.
I've sacked off the volumes because the volumes are almost as dear as the books. So I was like, well, I'll just bite the bullet on this and got the book. So I will continue to read.
I've got book 3 sat up there ready to go now.
I very nearly on Amazon. I was like, 38 quid for all 3 of them. Shall I just get all 3? Like, no, just buy one at a time. Don't be stupid. Just buy one at a time. So I bought the first one, and I say this program and comic book is pretty damn good. I mean, it's to me it feels like it's a much slower than the comic book. It's much I don't know if it's trying to pace it out a bit differently to the book, because the book just goes like a million miles an hour straight out the bat, whereas this is very much more slow and methodical.
Well, I think they're going. I think we said it last week. They're going for the Breaking Bad feel with it. I think.
Yeah, and I think they're taking. I get the feeling they're not playing it at the same starting arc. You know what I mean? It started very differently in the comic to the TV program.
I think they're telling a completely different story.
Yeah, it's basically going. This is based on this, but we're going to tell it slightly different for probably a more modern audience, maybe, because like he said, this was a 90s book. So maybe they're going very that way. I don't know, but it's very good. It's very good, and I look forward to you catching up.
You've reminded me that I need to watch that because it's not on Sky or Netflix.
It's on Amazon.
Check Amazon, and I just forgot. I need to set a reminder on my phone to check this every Monday or whenever it comes out.
I don't know what it is, but this is the program I want to watch out of all of them. Out of Game of Thrones or Outcast and Preacher, that is the one. That is
now.
I saw a sheepdog there faffing with something, and I was like, "What is he doing?" And yes, Preacher is the one that I want to watch. Where every time it comes out, I want to watch the next one. So, I mean, I'm not saying Game of Thrones or Outcast is bad, but like I say, that's what's drawing my attention at the minute.
Preacher gets the pab thumbs, does it?
There you go, live.
Oh, live thumbs. Never seen those thumbs in person before.
Exactly. I'll tell you, Orphan Black, I will be interested. I will carry on watching that and see if Sheepdog is truly right.
It's never happened before, so chances of that happening now are fairly slim, surely.
Yeah, probably right.
That needs to get the thumbs up.
Yeah, it's got 1 at the minute. I've got 2.
Quite frankly, I'm giving you 7 minutes to do the rest of the show so I can go watch the finale.
Well, Sheepdog, luckily it's the bit that we always rush through and spend no time on coming up.
To be fair, I've got a few bits to talk about this week in the comics.
Well, do you want to go first then? Because as usual, I've got a list as long as my arm, and you two might cover some of them along the way.
I finished The Watchmen.
Have you? Splendid. What did you think?
I liked the payoff, but I felt like it was a lot of work to read through.
Well, that was the idea, wasn't it? It was something new in comics at the time, doing things. It was a complicated comic for grown-ups.
The problem I had was it wasn't complicated in that there was lots of threads to follow. It was just long. I don't really see why they felt the need to have the comic that the guy was reading spread across the whole 10 chapters. I started skipping that eventually.
It must be 5 or 6 years since I've read this. I can't remember what you're talking about.
Yeah, so every time they had because obviously parts of it are set in just like a newspaper shop in New York. And I get why the newspaper shop and the people around it were in it, but I just didn't really get why they felt. Because basically there's like this kid or guy, I couldn't really tell his age from the picture, but he was sat there just reading a comic, and it just kept. So while people are talking around him, you could read the comic and read the comments and read the comic and read the comments, and then sometimes it would just have a couple of pages where it was just that comic that he was reading. And at first I read it all religiously, thinking it's all important, it's all relevant, and then I read it in the last edition. I read it all through thinking there's bound to be a payoff to that story, but the last 2 chapters, but I feel like 6, 7, and 8, I just barely read it. I was just skimming it because I just wanted to read the proper story. And again, I don't know, it just felt a little bit like you could have probably edited out a lot of those chapters, really. I might watch the film just to see it all condensed.
Oh God, don't watch the film.
No, get lost. The film is good.
Yeah?
The film is good.
Don't get me wrong, like I'm not giving it a thumbs down. I'm not saying it was a bad comic. I enjoyed reading it and I liked You know, when you boil it down. But anyway, I enjoyed it. I just felt when I get home and the football's still on, I'm like, do we really have to sit through this?
That's when you can play your games, little fella.
Yeah.
I can't because I haven't got a telly, have I? She uses a telly for the football.
Do you only have one telly? What kind
Well,
of
we have like
monster are you?
a crap telly upstairs that isn't hooked up to the Xbox One. So while she's been doing that, I've been reading comics, Kev. But
Okay, I'll allow it.
Yeah, but I found that I think it's probably it was a tough slog. It was worth it, but it was a tough slog. I just feel like modern comics that have edited that a fair bit and that have polished it a bit, and it would have been a joy to read all the way through. Whereas some of those, I felt like I was just swimming through treacle to get it done. But as I say, I enjoyed the payoff at the end, and
Yeah.
I am glad you told me that it wouldn't explain the DC Rebirth thing. I kind of wish you hadn't made me. You didn't mean to, but you made me think it was connected when I went and read it, and I said to you, "Oh, I haven't read The Watchmen, so I don't know what the connection is." And then I don't know. I guess you guys didn't really know what the connection was going to be at that point, but I went off reading it thinking I'll know everything. And then when you were like, "No, you don't," I was like, oh, "Why am I 8 chapters through?" I only kept going because Pat was like, "No, it all pays off in chapter 10," and it did. But
Hang on, in what?
Chapter 10 of Watchmen.
I've not read it. I was going to ask you, I've not bought this yet. Shall I buy this?
You should buy it because it's one of the most highly regarded comics of all time.
Yeah, I've sat on the fence for it a long time, thinking.
I think I might reread it for next week, so we can talk about it some more.
You might be in a better, I don't know, frame of mind, if that's the right word, than I am. I've been reading a lot of other comics that are shorter, and I like it. They're just editions, they're not chapters of a graphic novel. So I don't know. I guess it just felt like I was spending, I don't know, half an hour at a time reading a chapter, whereas I was used to spending sort of half an hour rattling through 10 comics or whatever. And when not much happens on some of the chapters, you just feel a little bit like, God, that was half an hour of my evening that I spent on that. I sat on the toilet longer than I needed to because I was reading this.
You've got to remember the context of what was going on in the world when this came out as well. It was very, very political and current.
Oh, yeah, cool. Yeah, definitely. And I can definitely see that. But yeah, I think it's definitely. I'm glad I've read it. I feel like I've taken like a small step into the a proper comic book reader sort of thing. I'm nowhere near the full way there, but I feel like I'm on the path, which I can use as a segue. I started reading Crisis on Infinite Earths, which was the COIE. Did you get that one when you read it?
No, I didn't. And you see, I found this much more of a slog than Watchmen.
Yeah, I was going to say I wondered whether this was the style of the era, in that both of these have been difficult to get through.
I think it probably was.
Yeah. I wonder whether that was intentional because they liked the fact that it had a bit of a barrier for entry. You couldn't just pick it up. Nowadays they're trying to make it open to everyone, but back then it almost seemed like you had to work for your enjoyment. It took a few to get into and enjoy. The first couple I was like, who are these no-mark people? Who are these random World War II people that I just don't recognise from any of my limited, better than average knowledge of comics, but it's just random soldiers that I don't remember ever seeing anywhere and stuff
That's
like that.
because a lot of them died in Crisis on Infinite Earths. So they haven't been around for 30
Good
years.
point. So the payoff of them dying was a little bit lost on me because, as you say, I wasn't reading it at the time, having grown up with them. But I'm trying to think how far through that I am. Like, I haven't finished it yet, but how connected are they? So the list you gave me, I went and I've gone and made sure I've got each of them in some sort of order from what you said. And how connected are they exactly? Does it roll straight into it from
No, not really. It's just all giving you background of what's been going on in the DC universe to try and make Rebirth make a bit more sense, because up until this point they'd had like 50, 60 years of continuity that had never been reset. They'd never done any kind of reboot. There was lots of confusing, conflicting backstories and things with different heroes having different powers at different times. And the whole purpose of this was just to get rid of all that and restart from, right, everyone's in the same universe. Everyone has a set backstory. There's only one version of each character. Let's go from here. And then that status quo was maintained for getting on for 20 years before they did Infinite Crisis, when they basically brought the multiverse back. So there's a 20-year gap. There are themes that pass on from one to the other, and it's connected to the same overall history of the DC universe, but there's still getting on for 20 years worth of stories that go on between that, and it's quite easy to be confused. But then from Infinite Crisis through Final Crisis through Flashpoint into New 52 into DC Rebirth, it kind of all makes sense from there. But this whole gap in the 80s and 90s, it's confusing.
It was interesting because a couple of the comics that I read had a Flash timeline at the end. So it was just like, I didn't realise that Jay Garrett was the first Flash and Barry Allen. According to this timeline, it was Garrett and then Allen. And then it kind of goes through all their... I just had like bullet points of what year stuff happened, and it was like in 1970, Gorilla Grodd or whatever, comes along, and it was just interesting realising that I suppose it's probably the same with Batman. As someone who grew up in the 90s, I just assumed all of those villains were kind of early on, and they've all just kind of always been battling him. But obviously there's probably 15, 20 years between some of them existing, and 50 years, and so on and so forth. And that was just interesting to see when they popped up, because, again, you just assume that like Reverse Flash and all of that are just staples of the thing.
You're a staple.
What else did I read? Did you get IGAU?
Yes, Injustice, Gods Among Us.
Yeah,
I worked that one out.
That one's been excellent. I'm still loving that. I feel like that would have been a good way for them to have another reboot instead of it being a complete offshoot. They could have just had it all reboot at the end of that and been like, right, there we go. That's your canon, but I know it's not strictly the same.
Yeah, it's not happening anywhere official. It's all living in video game land. It's not in comic land.
Which is funny, but no, it's very cool, and I like that it's taken the modern favourites and made them more important. So I say it's mainly Harley Quinn. It's like a very, very prominent character. I'm starting to realise, reading these, Crisis on Infinite Earths, the Gods Among Us and all that, the Green Lantern's not as much of a loser and a lame wad as I thought he was. I always thought he was a really, really, really lame hero, but turns out he's actually got something to him, really, hasn't he? So I may have to go down that rabbit hole at some point.
Jeff Johns' Green Lantern Rebirth from like 10 years ago. That's what you need to read. That's
cool.
Very good.
I did put Civil War 2 on my list, and I realised I'm not up to date on it, I don't think.
Issue 2 came out this week, as did Issue 1 of the X-Men tie-in. I read both of them. The X-Men one, I was confused because I'm completely out of touch with X-Men. I don't think I've read any X-Men stuff since Avengers versus X-Men. So I was very confused when old man Logan turns up and chastises someone for calling him Wolverine, and apparently Magneto's bad again, but Cyclops isn't in it at all, and I couldn't keep up with what's going on with the X-Men. The actual Civil War 2 storyline, though, is good. I like where it's going. I like the way they're setting up the different sides building, and how it's basically leading towards Avengers versus Ultimates at the moment, I think, which is interesting. And it's good to see Captain Marvel play a very prominent role in it all, because I like Captain Marvel, and she's not often in stuff as much as this, which is very splendid and good to see. Although I don't like her hair. It troubles me.
What, a short haircut?
Yeah, I don't like the way it spikes a little bit too much for my liking. Too much. It's too much like my hair, basically.
Yeah.
And I don't want Captain Marvel hair.
I always considered you to have lesbian hair, to be fair.
That's the problem. What else? You like throw some more at me because then
Yeah.
I'll fill in the gaps.
What's Vote Loki? Did he run for president?
That's exactly what it is. Yes,
Awesome.
and it's brilliant. I've only read the first issue of that. It came out this week. But yeah, basically he turned. The premise is he's just in a disguise at a presidential debate, and while he's there, stops an assassination attempt on both of the presidential candidates. That's not a spoiler. That happens in like the first 2 pages. And he's interviewed off the back of stopping this. Oh, are you a hero now, Loki? And he just goes on a rant about how they're all liars. At least when he's lying, he's honest about it. And if he was president, he'd lie just as much as them, but you'd know he was lying and he'd be open about the lies because that's what he does. He's the god of mischief.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, a campaign builds for him to run for president, and then he eventually thinks, oh, you know what? I think I might just. And yeah, it's only a 4-issue miniseries.
Cool.
It's all tied in rather splendidly to obviously the fact that you've got all this stuff going on in America at the moment, so it's very topical. And yeah, Loki is running for president, and it's very cool. I like it a lot.
I'm waiting for the day our listeners suddenly try and convince me to run for Prime Minister, but it ain't happened yet. It's very disappointing.
No, you need to be honest about the fact that you'd lie.
I think I'd be able to get away with not lying and just...
No, you'd have to lie. You wouldn't get elected if you didn't lie. But the thing is, you tell the lies for the meatheads who don't understand, but then you also knowingly say, yeah, obviously I'm lying to the intelligentsia who recognise the lies, and therefore you're appealing to both, because the thickos don't think you're joking when you say, I am lying about this, though. This isn't what I'm actually going to do. They just hear the headline, and that's what gets printed in the Daily Mail, and then you're there talking to the bright folk, telling them what you'll really do. It's clever.
Might tell everyone I'm going to ban bombs and eliminate cancer.
Yeah, and then when that camera stopped rolling, say, but obviously none of that's possible. I'd like to do that, but I can't do that. That was a lie. That was for political spin. That's to earn me votes. Hopefully it'll have done the job. You watch Prime Minister Sheepdog. That's what's going to happen.
Indeed.
What else have you two read this week then?
Do you want me to go before you?
Go on then, Paul.
Yeah, because as you know, I'm a week behind you.
You are.
Catch up for everything.
Past.
That's what I get for ordering all my comics variant versions online instead of digital. So I've read DC Rebirth, Wonder Woman, and Flash.
Ooh, what did you think?
They're alright. The Wonder Woman one was interesting. You're right.
I really like that. I've read that one again since because I really enjoyed it. I think that's been my favourite one so far.
It confused me a little bit, but then I realised that, like I said, they are doing like sort of like a 2 separate timeline thing, aren't they? And that's what they're going to do from going forward. So I feel like I probably will continue with that one.
A separate timeline? Do you mean people have been sent to different times?
No, it's like a...
Basically, because it's going to be a fortnightly comic, they're going to do 2 different stories. So there's going to be the origin story running monthly, and then the modern day running monthly, and they'll just rotate back and forth between the 2.
I remember saying that.
A lot of the Rebirth issue is throwing question marks over all of the millions. Well, there's like 3 or 4 different origins that Wonder Woman has.
Yeah.
And we kind of get them all in the Rebirth issue, and part of the story is going to be establishing what the real one is.
Yeah, that was a good one. I did enjoy that one. And, I probably will end up with pushing through first 2 episodes just to see where they go from the next 2 issues. The Flash one, I thought the Flash one was all right because I thought the Flash one had most relevance to the whole Rebirth itself. Like you said last week, it's very relevant, and it made me I've never been interested in the Flash ever. It never in general. And I was like, all right, this isn't bad. And I thought it was all right, and that is the Flash Rebirth issue concentrates on who's the blonde-haired one. I get him confused now because I don't follow it that well.
Wally.
Where's that Wally? Or is that Barry?
Barry's. I don't know what colour Barry's hair is in the comics. Wally's
ginger one.
Wally's ginger.
Barry Allen's. All right, so he's the original. Barry Allen's the
Flash.
Blonde. Yeah, he's just the Flash, not the Kid Flash, whoever he's called. Yeah, right, yeah. So it focuses on him this time, because whereas the Rebirth itself focused on
Yeah, it's telling the Rebirth story from Barry's point
from
of
his
view
perspective,
rather
yeah.
than from
Which
Wally's.
is what I enjoy. I will probably continue with this one because of the fact that they're going to have to. Well, I don't know whether they're going to push into more back into the Rebirth story with the Flash issues. I don't know what.
I don't know. Having read Titans Rebirth this week,
Yeah.
we got a lot more of it in there because Wally has now gone off to join up with the Titans again. So this Titans Rebirth has been Wally joining back up with the Titans, and we get a little bit more Rebirth story there as well. So they're dropping little bits in here and there and making sure we have to pick up lots of titles.
Yeah, it seems
I think the general gist is, for now at least, just follow Wally. Wherever Wally is, that's where you're going to get the most story.
But the Flash one has the ending with where he goes to see Batman, and then they start discussing the badge and what have you. And there is something going on there. So he's mentioning that all ties back into the whole Rebirth story arc as well. So you're like, I've got to continue this now anyway. I've got to get the next few issues.
I know what they're doing.
Yeah, they're the swines, absolute swines. So yeah, that's the Flash one. Like I say, I will get the next issue of that one. The other thing I read catching up was the Detective Comics and the Action Comics that you read last week. You mentioned. I didn't mind either of them. You said you wasn't a fan of one of them, didn't you say?
I really enjoyed Detective Comics. Of all the ones that came out last week, Action Comics was the most meh. It's not that I didn't enjoy it; there just wasn't much to it.
Yeah, like the Lex Luthor Superman.
Indifferent to him, really. I've just never really been a Superman guy.
This is what's weird for me now, because never have I, and I find myself, he's the character that I'm drawing to most at the minute, and I don't know why. And it's kind of like something I don't want to be doing. It's something I don't really want to admit that this is what is pushing me that way in a minute. But I'll find myself, I will go towards Superman more than anything else at the minute.
Do you think there are many people who would say he's always been their favourite? There must be loads, really, but it just seems like he's the
kids love Superman, don't they?
There are people that are a fan of him, and I mean,
don't get me wrong. I know a lot more about Superman than many of the heroes, I suppose, and you know, I like the whole lore and the Supergirl stuff, as I said before, and I was really into Smallville growing up and stuff like that, Lois and Clark and so forth.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just it's a bit overpowered, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. These Action Comics and Detective Comics, are these going to come out? Are these fortnightly or?
Yeah, they're fortnightly as well.
Right. So they're really just milking me for money at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, swines, yeah.
Don't worry, they're only £2 each. So
yeah,
they're cheaper than a normal comic.
To be fair, the Action Comics was alright, but you're right, the Detective Comics was like, did you mention this last week? It's like an Ocean's 11 style thing where they're just getting a ragtag team together to fight something. They don't even really explain what it is, do they? And then
there's a big bad. We don't know what the big bad is, but
there's like a shadowy figure that you just don't know who it is, do you? Yeah. And you're like, okay, and he's watching everybody, isn't he? You've got these like this technology that's massively advanced. And you're like, who is this?
CCTV.
Nobody knows. Yeah, basically, little GoPros on like little batarangs, aren't they?
So they're not that massively advanced.
Well, no, I thought that. I went, surely this isn't that advanced. But Bruce Wayne said this is advanced. This is like 10 years advanced on me.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
right, okay.
He's never put a GoPro on a batarang before.
No, he's clearly, he's not been playing the Arkham games, has he not? So yeah, I did enjoy that one. But like I say, I just found myself being drawn to the Superman stuff at the minute, which is why I have read an up-to-date comic this week, Kev.
Have you?
I've read Superman #1.
Have you? And what did you think of Superman #1?
It's all right. I read Superman 1 before I read Action Comics, and then I went, oh crap, was I meant to read that one first? But
I wonder. I'm trying to work out what stories they're going to tell in each of the comics. In Action Comics, I assume we're going to get the battle between Superman and Lex Luthor and the baddie who appears.
Yeah.
And I think Superman might be more about his son. I think we're going to get.
Yeah, about him.
Are we getting a new Superboy? Is that what's happening? Is he going to uniform up?
Probably. He probably will.
Because
it's very much about training him and telling him to, trying to teach him in the way of his powers and trying to make sure he's not reckless with them.
And I find
So,
that more interesting in what was going on in Action Comics. Superman #1, I think, was better than Action
yeah,
Comics.
I would agree with you that. I would agree with you. I tried very hard this week to just try and catch up with you, but I couldn't get there in the end because I thought, sorry, I'm not going physical anymore. I'm just going digital. So
That's the
much
spirit.
easier. It's so much easier, and I'm running out of room. I bought a box. Got a box.
Hey.
So but that's half full already. I was like, brilliant.
Is
Yeah,
it a
so
long box or a short box?
it's just, well, that's for a standard box. There was a standard, short, and long, and a sort of standard. But
Did
best
you?
of both worlds, I'll
Did
do.
did you get some sky hooks while you were there?
What are they?
Just ask next time. You ask for some
Sky
sky
hooks.
hooks. Yeah, sky hooks and a long wait. That's what you need.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, I've gone digital on what are the new ones this week? Superman,
And this week we've had
Batman.
Titans Rebirth, Batman, and then the #1s are Batman, Green Arrow, Green Lanterns, and Superman.
Yeah, all the #1s I bought digital this month. I only bought physical issues of the Rebirth ones because I thought they are something to have and be like a momentous occasion. So I thought, right, okay, I'll have them ones, and all the rest of them now I'll just buy digital just because they're easy to have, and I find myself I can read them at work. Then I can have them on my phone at dinner time. I can be sort of I started taking books into work and I bent one and I was pissed off.
Yeah, I sit there at lunchtime like a loser, sat there at my desk reading comics on my iPad.
Yeah.
Smirks from the real grown-ups.
Yeah, I feel like I get some weird looks from people. What's he doing reading a book?
He can read.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be on
Well,
a break. Stop reading.
They don't realise I'm just looking at the pictures. I'm not actually reading it.
So of the other Rebirth books this week, then we'll do a quick recap on them. I left the whole week a little disappointed, I think. And I think it's because I read them in the wrong order, and I should have saved Titans until the end. And I really enjoyed that and was really up. And then I got into all the issue ones, and it was just a disappointment that the whole overall story didn't really progress in any of them. And the Superman one was quite good. Batman was quite good. Green Arrow was a bit of a disappointment after how strong Rebirth was. The #1, I don't know, didn't really do it for me. I'll stick with it for another issue or two, but didn't really enjoy that so much. And Green Lanterns showed promise. It looks like they're setting up the conflict, well, not conflict, but the relationship that you're going to have between the two Green Lanterns that we've got. And I think that's got the potential to go somewhere. But
yeah, I thought the Rebirth was good.
Green Arrow he's annoying me a little bit.
Yeah.
He needs to stop. I know they have to stay true to his character and all that stuff, but I'm just getting fed up of him being too much of a goody two-shoes. And just I don't know, it just doesn't feel right to me. And I think it's because most of my Green Arrow exposure has come from the TV show, and he's nothing like the TV version. And I know comic book readers are loving the fact that this version is the original comic book version, is nothing like the one we get on telly. But I like the one on telly, and it's obviously that's not what we're going to be getting. So we'll have to see how this one pans out. But didn't enjoy it as much as I enjoyed the Rebirth one, and even the art I don't think was as. It was. I checked. It's the same artist who did the Rebirth and the issue 1, but I just don't think it looked as good. So I don't know. Perhaps he just sketched this one on the back of a newspaper and sent it in because he's got to do a new issue every 2 weeks. Because a lot of the other books are swapping out the artists, and the artists are only doing every other issue. But this guy did both of them. I don't know. Perhaps it was rushed a little bit, and that took the edge off it, maybe. Have you got any more before I go into the rest of my list?
I haven't got any more. That's me done.
Nah, me done too.
Splendid. Well, I'll race through mine then, because I'm getting ever so tired again. Look at my eyes. So I mentioned before, finished Preacher Book 2. It's just brilliant. I mean, when I ordered Book 3, I was so tempted just to order the whole run. I think there's 6 in total. And I just almost just order them all because it's just awesome. If you haven't read Preacher yet, whether you like or not like the TV show, don't care. You must read Preacher. It's brilliant. I read a couple of new issue ones this week that are worth a look. Weird Detective, which I think is from Dark Horse, maybe. It's about a detective who's a little bit weird. And I can't tell you any more than that without spoiling it, because, I mean, it is just a bit weird, but it's a double-length issue, so it's like 45 pages, so good value for money, and and it's just, I enjoyed it. Check that one out. And also Tales from the Darkside, which was originally going to be a TV series based on a TV series from many moons ago, and they had scripts written to do it as a TV show, but then the TV show didn't get picked up, so they've developed it as a comic instead. I think the way it's going to work is it's going to be just odd stories each week set in this world. So I think it kind of felt like we got a complete story in issue 1. And again, it was just something a little bit odd, but it was a story that was really well told, and I enjoyed that one as well. But my big book of the week that I really, really enjoyed, and I'm now going to have to spend a considerable amount of money on collecting all the stuff from the past, a series called Stray Bullets, which has been around for 20 odd years. They seem to just knock out a volume of this every couple of years, and then it disappears for a little while. But they did a new one that's been running, well, it's up to issue 15 now, so it's been running just over a year again. Stray Bullets, Sunshine and Roses, which is, I think it's the 6th volume of Stray Bullets, but you don't need to know what's gone on in the previous ones to enjoy this. I haven't read any of the previous ones. They do a good job of introducing the characters. I think the Stray Bullets series as a whole is deliberately set up to be, it's sort of set in roughly the same place over roughly the same sort of time period, like somewhere between the 70s and the 90s in Baltimore. And this story is, you get these characters who are involved in sort of gang stuff, and it doesn't sound like the sort of thing that I'd enjoy, but as you follow it through from issue to issue, they do a fantastic job of introducing who the characters are, making you care about them, and just, I've never seen a comic that represents action and frantic, fast-paced stuff going on the way this one does. There was a little bit of it in the Omega Men that I talked about last week, but this one just really skillfully makes you read faster and makes you feel like you're really following along fast-paced action, flipping back and forth between different scenes that you know are happening simultaneously, and it's just really skillfully put together. And bearing in mind it's one guy who is drawing it, writing it, it's black and white, it's not coloured, his wife is editing it, and then they self-publish it. And it's just really, really good. And I had a look on Amazon to get the first 5 volumes as one big Walking Dead size compendium is about 40 quid, and that's now at the top of my Amazon wish list because I want that to sit on the shelf back there, because really, really enjoying that. And bearing in mind I keep going on about how I'm busy this week, haven't had time for anything. I picked these up Tuesday and I've read all 15 issues of this run since then. I finished it off this afternoon, and it's just really, really good. So that's Stray Bullets, Sunshine and Roses. That's Kev's pick of the week. If you're going to read nothing else from what we've talked about, you need to pick up a couple of issues of that and have a little nose through, because it is excellent. And that's me done. That's my comics week.
I think I've noticed a pattern that we always say we haven't got time for anything, but what we mean is we seem to be spending a lot more time reading.
Yeah, but it's because we're grown-ups who have other stuff going on. Like Pab was saying, you can read a comic at lunchtime. You can't get your Xbox out at lunchtime. You can't watch a TV show or a movie at lunchtime, but you can read an issue of a comic. They come everywhere with me on my iPad, so I've always got them with me. I can always find little snatches of 10 or 15 minutes during the day, whether it's last thing at night before I go to sleep, or in the morning while I'm eating my breakfast, or while I'm having a poo or having my lunch, or, you know, there's 5 or 6 little 10-minute opportunities that are just long enough to read an issue of a comic, and it just fits in with being a grown-up a lot better than any of the other stuff does. Someone needs to invent, and I guess YouTube is getting there and doing it, but they need to start doing 10-minute episodes of TV shows, like big, decent TV shows. But rather than making the episodes 45 minutes long, do them 10 minutes long and just stick them all on Netflix, but just have them little self-contained 10 minutes so you can watch that in your lunch break.
Game of Thrones would have been good for that, because you could have done like a Daenerys episode for 10 minutes and then a Jon Snow episode for 10 minutes.
Yeah, see, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah, I'd be well up for that. If they just broke it down into 10-minute segments over the course of a week, I'd watch that every day. Like a slight advert either side of it for £1 million.
Exactly.
Whatever. And, you know,
this could be how we finally become media superstars, by pioneering the 10-minute TV show, which would never work with traditional TV because the advertising wouldn't work with it. 'Cause you couldn't put an advert halfway through. It'd be hard to sell ads either side of it. But with Netflix or with YouTube or however you want to do it, someone needs to just come out and say, right, here you go, we're developing this thing for TV, and it's going to be 10-minute episodes. We release 10 of them in one go.
I assume
every
it already
couple of weeks.
exists, to be fair. I know that one of the main cast from Stargate SG-1 did a show. I can't remember what it's called now. It was very popular. It was out like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago. But that was a YouTube only thing.
Yeah, you need a big breakthrough one that is culturally relevant, everyone knows about. Someone needs to say, look, we can do something massive in 10-minute chunks. And it will take over the world, I tell you.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it now. I tell you what, should we do it before we go to bed? I'm fresh as a daisy.
Yeah.
If we get some replica guns, we could just hold a gunfight, don't explain why it happened, and then make that our first episode.
And then do episode 2 in 4 years' time. So, yeah, it's going to be 10-minute episodes, one every 4 years. It's the way forward. Before we depart, just a little reminder, we did talk a lot about MGPX at the start of the episode. If you're sold on it now, if you want to answer our SOS call, you need to do that by going to maturegamingpodcast.com/MGPX or justgiving.com/MGPX16. While you're tapping away on the internet, make sure you pay a little visit to alphabetagamer.com because they have alphas and betas for gamers. I think that's their slogan. Isn't that right, Sheepdog?
That sounds about right, sir.
You can, if you want to do so, follow us on Twitter at MGUK Podcast. You can follow me at Lelujo.
And I'm at RB6K.
And I'm at Pab1986.
We're also on Facebook at facebook.com/MatureGamerPodcast or youtube.com/MatureGamerPodcast. And if you are watching this on YouTube, either live or on the replay that's going to be on there, make sure you pop a like on there for us. Let us know in the comments what you think of it. We've got our question of the week, which was, what are the signs that you are getting too old to play video games? That can be in the comments on the YouTubes or in a review on iTunes, a nice 5-star review, because we like them very much.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the channel, share the episode around, all that awesome good stuff. All helps to let everything grow. There you go, that's growth. And I can't think that there's anything else that we need to pimp, so I think it's
check
probably...
out Jake Body's new show, Beard Pie.
Don't call me Beard Pie. See you next week, boys and girls.
Have a good week.
Bye-bye, folks.